This is my boiler room. Fortunately, it's pretty well organized and laid out. The engineer who built this did a nice job. All the pipes are really neatly installed. Nice brackets holding them onto the walls. This is a control system for these zone valves down here. These manifolds connect the PEX piping to the floor loops that heat the basement. There's 2 zones down here. That's the actual boiler. It's pretty nice and quiet. This is the pump I just had to replace. I'm hopeful that this will do the job. It's running. I can hear it and feel it vibrating a little bit, so that's good. I have to watch for leaks and make sure that I got it mounted in there properly. There's some gaskets between these flanges that have to be seated right, and it took a little bit of effort to get this pump housing into here in between these 2 flanges, because all this piping is quite rigid. In fact, what I ended up having to do is use the original pump housing with the new motor and impeller on it. Fortunately, because they're Grundfos and they've been making them the same way for decades, they mount right up. It's just a little 6mm Allen to disconnect the pump motor from the housing. This process, of course, got a little bit of air into the system, so I need to figure out how I'm going to bleed that out. You can occasionally hear it get a little louder as some of the bubbles come in and it cavitates in the pump. But overall, I think I'm in pretty good shape. I believe that there is actually my air vent, so I'll have to go learn how that works and make sure I get any air out of the system. But anyway, that's the boiler room. That's the pump I replaced. There's another pump over here, another Grundfos, and when we got back from vacation last time, the pump in here, the rotor had seized up. The water here has a pretty high manganese concentration, and when it precipitates out of the liquid, it can create a little bit of grit that just overcomes the starting power of the motor. So in order to get hot water running again, which is what this is for, this runs the circulator loop into this device here, which is called a boiler mate. That's my hot water for the house, the water heater for domestic hot water. I had to disassemble the pump out of the housing, spin the impeller, and put it all back together, and that got it working again. So this pump is probably fine, but now I have a backup because I went ahead and bought another one just in case, so that the next time I come back and things aren't working, I have the option to replace the pump if I feel like it's going to be a continued problem. So that's my current adventure in being a multiple homeowner.